The U.S. invaded and occupied Iraq, disabling the entire Middle East, abetting brutal sectarian violence, because of the scare tactics and lies of a bunch of Israeli partisan neocons. The war was in the interest of Israel, not America. Iraq was a potential threat to Israel, not America. The Israeli firsters were brash enough to create their own secret office inside the Department of Defense, the Office of Special Plans, specifically tasked with manipulating and fabricating intelligence to justify going to war with Iraq. Leftist gatekeepers blamed it on oil, but each pre-war lie was nothing more than recycled Israeli propaganda from the 1990s. It has cost the U.S. trillions. And the architects of the war face zero accountability. The same cabal stating the same type of lies and deceptions about Iran and Syria are why the U.S. has sanctions on Iran and why the U.S. finances terrorists in Syria, including Al-Qaeda. This course is an Israeli script. These are from Israeli policy papers. And they serve Israeli interest, not American. During the mortifying, child-murdering slaughter of the already blockaded Gaza Strip, which turned the whole world's stomach green, the U.S. Senate voted 100-0 right in the middle of the killing to send even more money to Israel. That's on top of the $3 billion in forgiven loans, that annual pound of flesh the U.S. coughs up every year to the lunatic state. Israel is guiding U.S. foreign policy, wasting trillions of dollars and costing thousands of American lives, more when you add the veteran suicides. And it has destabilized a region, bringing an entire generation nothing but chaos. And for what? The United States must end all foreign aid to Israel. It is this money, which is recycled back on bribing the Congress, combined with the powerful Israeli lobbies, that pushes the U.S. into one war after another against its own interest. Cutting off the money to Israel cuts off their armaments, and it greatly reduces their ability to bribe. Folks, this is a central issue. This is a core issue. We need to stop foreign aid, period, because it's divvied out in the form of predatory loans to the third world and forgiven loans to the Israeli pariah state. And we don't need any of that. We shouldn't be starving countries in Africa intentionally, hooking them into the IMF's austerity plans. And we don't need to be financing the apartheid state of Israel. They have an unregistered foreign lobby that openly bribes the Congress to do its bidding. We have to cut off the flow of money before America bleeds itself dry. I have been stating and explaining this for 13 years. You've got to get proactive. Call and write your congressman. Do not give up on the process until you at least attempt it. Make signs. Don't be afraid of someone calling you names. There's nothing anti-Semitic, anti-American, or being soft on terrorism, or any of the other hollow slogans and labels they use to push down dissent about opposing a bunch of religious fanatics who openly colonize their neighbors and annex land. It's your money. America's own cities are falling apart, and they're sending billions to Tel Aviv. And that's why, and I'm not peddling wares here, I'm selling these basically at cost. I've created the End All Aid to Israel t-shirts. Wear them with pride. Yes, it's going to start something. Yes, you're going to probably have to engage some people in some dialogue, but it's worth it. Something has to give. I'm sick of seeing dead children on TV, or more likely on the internet, because the alphabet soup networks don't want to touch it. If you notice who runs the media, look at the uniformity for the Iraq War. Look at the uniformity for Israel's occupation. Not one single channel or one single newspaper can admit openly that Israel occupies the West Bank, blockades Gaza Strip, and has Jewish-specific laws in their apartheid state and country. Not a single one will admit to you a brutal 40-year-plus occupation which is publicly verifiable. We don't have a media, folks. That's why we have to make our own. They lie about everything. And the notion that, oh, well, somebody would say something wrong. Not a single magazine, paper, or television channel can admit that Israel builds racial colonies in the West Bank. Just the very basics of an occupation. You can't even start on this topic. It's ridiculous to talk about the peace process without acknowledging the brutal military occupation. And yet, it's not done, not on one single channel. And I know what Alex Jones says, but no, the Arabs do not run Hollywood. And so I am pleading with you to have the courage to wear it on your sleeve. We have anti-neocons on the front, that's a broader issue, and end all aid to Israel on the back, which is a very specific issue. It needs to be done. If you're interested in getting a shirt, Facebook me or go to ancreport.com and look in the shop section. I'm so tired of explaining this issue over and over again. We need to get the snake out of our ear. We need to cast off the parasite that is Israel and free up the United States. These bastards have been directing policy since the death of John F. Kennedy and the attack on the USS Liberty. These bastards were involved in 9/11, and if it's any shock to people that they're aiding ISIS in the Golan Heights, along with Saudi Arabia, our other partner in crime, then you need to take a serious look at history. This has been our poison since World War II, and we've got to cut it off. Get rid of the cancer. End all aid to Israel.